Hey, and welcome to Money Monk Monday. Today's lesson is a very important one to me, and I think it's an important one for everybody to understand and master. And there's a couple of sayings that I want to kick the day off with. And the first one is, your problems are your medicine or your disaster, depending on how you approach problems. And the other one is, you must become bigger than your problems. Both those statements point to something really important. That is, you do not evolve without facing problems. Now, as wealth creators, we are always facing problems. Moving from where we are right now as wealth creators, whether you're an investor or an entrepreneur, to where you really want to go as a wealth creator, means that you're going to face all sorts of challenges. So how you approach problems will define in reality whether you become bigger than your problems, because when you become bigger than your problems, you end up getting your wealth goals. Let me explain. Evolution of any kind requires a problem to be solved, meaning the problem itself forces humans to find a solution. As an example, you could look at fire. Fire was a solution to the problem of being cold, of nutritional challenges, not being able to see, protecting oneself from wild beasts. So that whole environment of being threatened by beasts, being cold, not being able to see, not being able to have good nutrition, forced early man to come up with a solution. And while they're in the problem stage, they're suffering. So suffering causes people to find solutions, which causes them to evolve not only themselves but humanity. You can take penicillin as an example. Early antibiotics came out of some really horrible disease states. Things got so bad, people were forced to find out ways of killing the bugs that were killing them. This is why we can come back to that statement I shared before, your problems are your medicine, and you now start to understand what I mean. If you face your problems properly, and we're going to bring this back to wealth creation, but regardless, it doesn't matter what it is. If you face your wealth creation problems properly, you are forced to come up with solutions that evolve you. And we'll map this out in a little bit. And it's probably important to say that I see all of life as a school of personal development. So problems in my relationships require me to look inward and go, what is it within me that contributes to these problems? What is it with me that needs to be developed so these problems don't exist? How can I help solve these relationship problems? And by the way, my background, I'd be dead by the time I was 30, I think, if I hadn't done this work. And I had no good relationships. I had no money. I was sick all the time. I was in trouble all the time with the law. They were problems, and because I was willing to face those problems, all of them, my entire life changed for the better, because in facing those problems and internalising what was in me that helped contribute or cause those problems, I was able to find solutions, and in finding those solutions I evolved way past those problems and started to have really amazing experiences in life. So we're going to just dig into this for a second. So what I observe a lot is people have safety nets. Safety nets are comfort zones. So we'll all have them in some form or another. As wealth creators, some people that watch this, you'll have jobs. You'll be an investor job, Or you will be a business owner. I work with business owners all the time where we're scaling their businesses. And make sure you watch my I just whipped out there for a second. I can see thank God for the amazing internet here in Australia, especially after NBN connections aren't working. So anyway, so back to what I was saying. So this safety net, investors will have jobs, and many business owners that I work with, because I specialise in helping the business owners scale their businesses, then automate them so they don't have to work in the business so much. They'll have a secure form of income that they get. It's not what they really want, but they've got the secure form of income. So this sense of a safety net is a problem for a lot of people, because the safety net, and I want everyone to be honest here, you'll see that when you've got a safety net, you will avoid problems longer than you should. You will avoid challenges longer than you should. And therefore you won't evolve, and therefore you get stuck where you are. Where if a safety net is ripped away, you don't have one, then you're forced to solve your problems. And when you solve your problems, you evolve far faster. So be aware of that. Safety nets, and people have them, they're not even aware of them. What is your safety net that stops you really addressing the problems that are stopping you from getting where you say you really want to go? Okay, so I just want to whip that out again. Be honest about the safety nets that you are addicted to, that stop you facing the problems between where you are right now and where you really want to go as a business owner, an investor, or wealth creator, or any other area of your life, because it starts with honesty. Now, here's why. Now, we've talked about your problem being your medicine. This is the reason why people avoid their problems and keep their safety nets in place. You see, when you have a problem that is bigger than you, now problems are bigger than you when you first face them, meaning that you do not have the internal assets, knowledge, skill set to solve the problem. So that means problems standing between you and where you want to go take you outside of your comfort zone and your competency zone and your skill zone. So of course you're a nervous wreck. That's just normal. And you're also brought face to face with your limitations. You know you don't have the skill set. You know you don't have the tools. You know that you don't have the intellectual knowledge yet to solve that problem. So in being brought to face with the problem, no safety net, you are forced to address that problem. And you will use all your internal faculties to solve that problem. You've got to go and get information, get knowledge, upgrade your skill set quickly to deal with that problem. Now, when you do that, you are evolving. You're forcing your consciousness to evolve. You are forcing your consciousness to develop the inner attributes that give you the ability to solve that problem. So you go from being smaller than your problem to bigger than your problem, meaning you now have the skill set to deal with that problem. And what happens is that problem is no longer an issue or challenge between where you are right now and your wealth goals or any other goal. Okay, because you become bigger than that. If that problem ever happens again, you'll solve it in 2 seconds flat. But it probably won't happen again because you'll be able to fix what caused the problem in the first place. So you can see this comes back to what we shared before, where we're looking at, fire, early stage man. Fire was developed because man was forced to deal with, can get attacked by a beast in the middle of the night. How can we stop this? Okay, forced to deal with that issue and problem, develop fire. Fire keeps the animals away. You start to get a sense of why your problems are your medicine. Your problems force you and humanity to evolve. When that becomes your habitual operating pattern, no safety net, and you are constantly solving challenges and problems, you will evolve very, very quickly, and you become the person who can have the wealth that you say you want, or anything else that you say you want. You see, people have what they have because they've solved so many problems that they've upgraded their skill set, their ways of thinking, their intellect, to the point where they're now dealing with higher stage problems. That when you're dealing with higher stage problems, you're already way up the rank. Like, I work with some super rich clients. Their challenges and problems are completely different to people lower down in the pecking order from a wealth creation perspective. Anyway, that's it for Money Monday. By the way, I have graphed this up. I like to make mind maps of what I teach. If you want it, just put a comment below and I'll send you the mind map. It's just a lovely little PDF which models out what I have communicated today, and you may want to download that and keep it. So just let me know in the comments below if you want it. Thanks. See ya.